I know. It is.
Yeah, Henley sings this one. You know, your mom and I, our song, he sings our song, or part of it. I'll tell you, him and Stevie Nicks, you know what song it is now? Leather and Lace. Listen, man, Henley and Glenn Fry killed it with solo careers in the 80s.
I just hate how Ace can't hear it.
And then this song, there's so much talk about what it means.
I can barely hear it. Barely. It's in the background.
You know, those guys would go out into like the desert and just do like acid and peyote and whatever. They'd be gone out. Yep. Sunday is soda day. Cheerwine. If you don't know about Cheerwine, I'm sorry.
Cheerwine's good though.
Yep.
Pepsi Zero though.
Cheerwine rules. Cheerwine makes a zero.
Try to refrain from sugar, man. I already talked about this.
Yeah, already. But, you know, Sunday afternoon is the day to have a soda. If you're going to have a soda, it's got to be root beer. It's got to be Cheerwine. Otherwise, everything else is just a waste. Dr. Pepper's okay. You know, Cherry Pepsi, Mercedes-Benz.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know. There's just so many people who think they know what this song's about. Who really cares? Like you said, it's a good song.
I think what it's about is they went out there and just lost it. I mean, those guys, I'm serious. So apparently, I mean, Joe Walsh and Henley and Schmidt and Fry, all those guys, I mean, they were just dropped some acid. You know, Joe Walsh had that. He had one or two songs, but Henley had the biggest solo career. And then, of course, Glenn Fry did pretty good, too. So, and he was on, I think, 2 episodes of Miami Vice.
Well,
so.
All right. Well,
we're recording already?
We let the song play out a little bit and a little bit more. So sorry if I cut it off for anybody listening that likes that, wanted to hear more, but we got a show to get into. So yeah, Amazon. With that being said, welcome back to episode 3 of the Tailgate Show. Our special guest is here. Well, now everybody knows who it is. As you can see, it is, for those that know us, it's my brother Ace, the middle brother. But for those that don't know, my brother Ace, he is currently at Brevard College. In his sophomore, going into his junior year. He is a college athlete. He played football for Brevard, and now he plays, he recently just finished his lacrosse season, which is something I never thought I'd hear Evitt do. But
yeah, that's baseball season.
Yep, baseball season and lacrosse season coincide, and they overlap. But yeah, good to have you here, Ace. Thanks for joining us.
Good to be here.
So we got a lot built up for this show. Going to try to not keep you for more than 45 minutes, but we'll see kind of how it goes. But we got a few segments here. First one, we're going to get into some tailgate confessions. And then
Ace is just a few rooms over. He's home for college, but we've decided to do it in different rooms. So
So anyways, we got tailgate confessions first. Then we're going to talk about the Braves and Bobby Cox just briefly. We got me and the Master Chief here are going to build a MLB lineup based on randomized spins, and then we'll have Ace be the judge of who has the better lineup. And of course, in the comments, you can also leave your vote for who wins. So then we got some questions for Ace to close it out in segment 3, but just try to get a college athlete's perspective from a younger generation. And then we'll close it out and we'll get out of here. But anyways, so segment 1, we got tailgate confessions. First thing we're going to talk about is what is the most overrated cookout food in our eyes? We will let Chief go first because I think he might have a good one, and then we'll let Ace go, and then I'll give mine because it's probably going to make some people mad.
I'm up.
Yep.
All right. So some people are going to hate this. You know, they're going to, whatever. But, man, a hot dog. Okay? A hot dog. I mean, that's burgers I get. Okay? And sometimes I guess you have hot dog for the kids or whatever because some kids won't eat a hamburger. You know, you need to teach that kid the good things in life. But hot dogs, man, because if you're going to have a hot dog, okay, you can't have just a weenie on a bun, okay? You got to have something else. Now, I'm not partial one way or the other. Personally, my favorite is to have chili, onions, mustard. I mean, that's traditional in the South. You know, where I grew up back in the day, there was a place called the City View Restaurant, and you could get 4 hot dogs for $1. That's how old I am.
Love that.
Yeah, Avery would have been like, man. So, yeah, 4 hot dogs for $1. And so you could go in there and $3 and you could get tater tots, 4 hot dogs, and a sweet tea. Boom, there you go. So, but when at a cookout, they never have chili, they never. Now, if you do the Chicago, where they put the peppers and all the other stuff, I love those too. I love sauerkraut. You know, I like a chili cheese coney for a long time was my favorite thing at Sonic. So, you know, but you just put the hot dogs. I mean, it's a cookout. If you're going to go to the trouble and stuff, and I know it's cheap to spend for a lot of people or whatever, but man, just do burgers. You know, do burgers. You know, bratwursts are not that much more expensive. Do bratwurst, do smoked sausage, do something like that. But I just don't like a hot dog at a cookout or a tailgate.
That's interesting.
Let the booze begin.
I didn't go with that one, but as soon as you said it, I was like, yeah, yep, hot dogs are kind of overrated. I get that. All right, so Ace, go ahead and give us your most overrated cookout food.
Now, yeah, hot dogs definitely got to be up there. It's not what I picked, but hot dogs carried more by nostalgia rather than taste. Let's be honest here. I mean, it's always been something that's, you know, sports have just grounded in, especially football season. So baseball too. I mean, you know, every ballpark you go to, hot dogs are a thing, and you know, it kind of gets old. So hot dogs definitely. That's a good take. Dad, I'll see you on that one. I'm going to take two here because they're both sides. Potato salad and coleslaw. Those two can either be the best thing at the cookout or the worst thing at the cookout. And I'll be honest, most coleslaw, horrible. People mess it up, especially the sweet vinegar that people try to do. Not enough sugar, not enough vinegar. Oftentimes it's very runny. It gets nasty after a while if you don't, refrigerate it the right way. So both of those if I go to a cookout and I see them, I'll try it, but everybody does it. Everybody has it. And if we could take those out of cookouts and tailgates, it would be a better time. I'll leave it at that.
All right. So we got coleslaw and potato salad. And he's
100%.
Right. I will say, Mom makes a really good coleslaw, though. Mom makes a good coleslaw,
Little
though,
Pigs
at the restaurant.
Barbecue, Traveler's Rest,
Great coleslaw.
Greenville, South Carolina.
Plug.
Best
There's the
coleslaw
plug.
in the state.
There's the plug for Mom. All right. I agree, man. I don't really eat coleslaw or potato salad. It's not my thing. Like I said, I prefer so many other sides: mac and cheese, baked beans, green beans, just plenty of that stuff. So I'm gonna go to mine, and I'm telling you, you're probably gonna be mad at me, but I'm not saying that this is a bad thing to eat. I think it's very overrated in terms of a cookout. So Chief went out on us there. I don't know what the heck happened. There he is. Cool. So steak. And
At
here's
a cookout?
why. Yep, at a cookout. There's so many things. There's so many things that you can cook, but I just feel like steak is just the number one thing. Everybody's gonna cook out, and people who don't really know how to cook a whole lot of stuff, they're just like, let's go with steak, and it's just so overused for cookouts, man. I just don't like it, man. I mean, you could have ribs or pulled pork or brisket or low country boil or frickin' fajitas I just feel like just a steak, just get a bunch of ribeyes or New York strips, and you have to cook all those for a bunch. But I think it's just overplayed. It's overrated. Steak is fantastic.
That's a fair point.
I love steak, but I think it's just overrated in terms of cookout. So that's my take.
That's a fair point. For cooking for a lot of people. Yeah.
You made that point on the last one. Like it's just it's different. Look, for you and like your wife, or you and your wife and kids, like just 3 or 4 steaks, yeah, cool. But for a cookout and you have people over, I just think steak is you could do so many other things than steak.
Well, I mean, just if we had all the family, if we had Ace and me, your mom, your brother, and then Kevin, and then you and Ashley. I mean, that gets expensive, especially if you're going to get a steak that's decent. So I get it.
Anyway,
I agree.
So let's
100%.
Let's roll.
My take on that. I gotta say this: steak. If you're receiving it at a cookout, okay. I mean, again, like you said, steaks are expensive. It's hard to provide for a whole cookout. We're talking like a big cookout, right? Like
right.
Probably over 20 people to get even 8 ounces of a steak is phenomenal to me. So I mean, yes, due to the priciness, yeah, but like in terms of overrated, I really can't go that route.
I know you worship steak, man. I know you worship
number
steak.
one,
I get it. Like
there's no finer meat.
I get it. Well, let's obviously knew Ace was gonna be mad about that, but let's move on. We got the weirdest thing. The next question: the weirdest thing you've ever eaten at a tailgate, and we'll go in the same order. We'll let Chief, Ace, then me.
All right, me first. Okay, so a little weird, but lobster tail. We used to go. I've been to I've been to South Carolina. I've been in a couple of tailgates at Clemson with some friends and stuff. South Carolina's on the road or whatever. They always have the TV there. And they had lobster tail. They cooked it on the grill. And the weird thing is they split the tail open and they put mayonnaise in there. Okay. Ooh. Not a huge mayonnaise fan anyway, but yeah, they put mayonnaise on there and it's grilled it. You know what? It was good. Really good. But I mean, I'm I'm from City View, man. I mean, lobster tail. That's like what you do if like your son gets drafted into the NFL or something, or
Yep.
yeah, or maybe the Raiders win the Super Bowl. You could splurge for, but lobster tail is expensive, and
Yeah,
especially if you buy it for a lot of people. So to me, it's not like strange and like something weird like sea urchin or something. But for me, that's just it's just strange. It was actually really good even with the mayo. I mean, I ate it, so it was great. But lobster tail, that's my weirdest.
I don't know if I would have liked that. It's not with the mayo, but maybe some butter, something else with mayo.
Yeah, butter. I mean, come on.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
They had mayo.
All right, Ace. So we got lobster tail, all right, with mayonnaise. Now we're going to ask you, what is the weirdest thing you've eaten at a tailgate?
I was at a tailgate in Clemson this past fall, and I was with a bunch of drunk college kids, of course. I had to drive that night, so didn't have anything. But some girl brought her, I'm 20. Some girl brought her like family recipe of, it's like this creamy deer jerky that it was like wrapped in mayonnaise and jalapenos and stuff, and it just had a bunch of stuff, and it was like shredded deer jerky. And I tried it. I was like, this is interesting, and it's pretty good. I would definitely have it again, but I've never had anything remotely close to that. So yeah, shredded deer jerky. That I know it had mayonnaise. I know it had jalapenos. It definitely had a few other sliced vegetables, but yeah, it was almost like eating just a bowl of mixed food. Like it was all combined into one. So it was all right.
It's not totally out there, but that is strange for a tailgate.
Yeah, there were these
Clemson people. These Clemson people are very weird.
Clemson think they're in some 1960s, preparatory school or something.
Yeah, for real. They're getting creamy shredded deer jerky. Now that's interesting. I never would have guessed that you would have eaten something like that. That's interesting. All right. I probably would have tried it too.
They said it was deer jerky. I've had deer jerky. It tasted similar. I don't know what else it could have been.
Huh.
So,
well, I mean,
it came in plastic Tupperware. She brought plastic Tupperware. It was like a big container, and she had like scoops of it. So
could have been an alligator penis.
Not many people really ate it.
That's a shout out to that movie Band of the Hand from last episode that I talked about.
Yeah. All right. I dig it.
Yeah, I hope not.
Interesting.
I hope it was deer jerky.
All right, we're going to move on to mine. I'll
Still
tell you
alive.
the weirdest thing I've eaten, and I'm not going to go into really explanation for this because it really doesn't need one. But weirdest thing I've ever eaten at a tailgate is fried Twinkies. Yep. So fried Twinkies, probably the most
unhealthy thing. Yeah.
Literally the most
Twinkies aren't healthy, frying them. But I have had fried Twinkies, and they are delicious.
Deep fried Oreos is the best.
So, yeah, deep fried Oreos are great. But yeah, so, all right, interesting. All right, let's go with best stadium food. Best stadium food.
I'm still going first?
Yep.
All right. So all the pro stadiums, the college stadiums I've been to and everything, now I'm going to go with Cherry Park. Okay. It is a baseball complex, sports complex in Rock Hill, South Carolina. You played there more than a few times. They usually have big tournaments and stuff growing up. Ace played there one time. And they have at their concessions bratwurst, and they're grilled and then they are simmered in something. I don't know what, but and then they serve them with, spicy mustard and peppers and onions. That is the best thing I have ever eaten at any stadium where you watch a sports event. All the way from T-ball all the way up to, professional baseball, football, or basketball. That is the best thing that I've had. So that's my pick, is the bratwurst. They also have smoked sausage too, and either one of those. I consider those interchangeable. But so of course, I had to get one of each just to be fair, because I'm a discerning man, and I needed to decide which one was better, and it's a tie. But and the peppers and onions were just perfectly grilled, and spicy mustard, just awesome.
Interesting. All right. I'd like to try that.
I just see when they have a tournament up there, no matter who's playing, and just take a ride up there and get me some. Matter of fact, road trip next Saturday. UNA, Smash will go.
I got to work all day.
Interesting. All right, Ace.
No, mine's pretty simple. I'm going to go loaded fries. I think nachos and beef loaded fries. I've never had bad loaded fries from a stadium before. So, and I've had it, I don't know how many times. So that'll always be my go-to.
Loaded fries.
Hey, you had those at that Panthers game we went to, didn't you?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I had them this Panthers game I went to this past year with Brooks. So okay.
I remember the one. That was the one we went to when it was us three.
Right? Yep, the three of us.
Yep. Yep. Ace was a little tubbers too back then. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. Ace was a little tubby,
Oh, man.
little tubby kid.
Fat
man.
Elvis.
Fat Elvis. You leave Fat Elvis
Yep.
alone.
When he had the long hair, he had the
That
long
Elvis
hair
long,
too.
man. Long curly hair. Yep. Now
I'm telling you, yeah,
machine.
little.
That
he
makes
was
me
a
think
little
of
tubby.
the Hangover when he's like, "Get up here, handsome," and Zach Galifianakis starts to move forward. He's like, "Not you, Fat Elvis."
Not you, Fat G.
Or Fat Jesus. Yeah, not you,
So-
Fat
Yeah,
Jesus.
not you, Fat
Ace was
Jesus.
Fat Elvis. Yeah.
So let's
In the face.
So my best stadium food is nachos, because it's not just regular nachos. I'm not talking the chips and just the cheese where you get in that little plastic clear that no.
Classic.
There is, I mean, it is, but there's a Stars game I've been to and a Texas Rangers game when the Braves played them. They both serve these brisket nachos, and it's just loaded with like chopped, slow smoked brisket. You know, you got your tortilla, but these tortilla chips are like they're home. They made them there. You know, they're actually homemade, and you got the cheese, you got jalapenos, you got pico, you got queso. I mean, they're just loaded, man. You can get them at the Stars game and a Rangers game. That's the best stadium food I've ever had, is those brisket nachos, and they're not, you know, they're both brisket nachos, but they kind of make them a little differently. But man, I would say the one at the Stars game is probably the best. But yeah, brisket nachos by far best stadium food I've ever had in my life. It's not even close. So moving on, most important part of a tailgate.
The conversation. That's easy. You know, the food is important, you know, but it's just people coming together and, you know, usually it's festive and, you know, it's amicable. So everybody is friendly, you know, and even different fan bases, you know, for us, especially where we're from, you know, you have one of the most heated rivalries. And if you're not inside it, you don't know. It's inside the state, but Clemson and South Carolina is huge rivalry. But at the tailgates, man, it's always, I mean, I've tailgated the Clemson Carolina game at South Carolina with both sides. I've tailgated at Clemson with both sides. It never been anything but a positive experience. Drew, you've been to a few. Ace, you've been to a few. You guys know, man, it is so awesome because, you know, the Carolina kids and the Clemson kids are all playing football and everybody else is sitting around and, you know, and just, you know, you're eating, you're having some beverages and just the conversation, man. You know, one thing that, you know, I don't mind talking personally is politics. You know, we're not doing it on this show because this isn't that show, but, you know, you don't get that a lot either. You don't get a lot of politics. And so it gets heavy. I think the conversation is light, you know, and I mean, just sports bring people together and tailgate more than most. So I think, you know, the most important thing, definitely the conversation, the talk, you know, people hanging out and the fellowship really means a lot.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to go ahead and give mine and say that mine would also be the conversation. I just have to go with that. It's conversation. Obviously food. You could say food, you could say music, whatever. Conversation, but it also, I'll add the people. It's the people too. The people that are with you and the people you know at the tailgate. That's mine. But Ace, go ahead. It's the most important thing about a
this will
tailgate.
also lead into the next topic, or well, you know, talking point. But a good grill master, someone who can hop on the grill, everybody can trust, that is going to deliver you very good food. Because if
Sounds like we know
cookout with yeah, I know, yeah, the Master Chief. You pull up at a cookout with your tailgate, and you know you have some Joe Schmo who clearly doesn't know what they're doing. I'm leaving. I'm going somewhere else. Especially, hey, I've been to Clemson a lot, especially the past 2 years now during the fall. So you know you can hop from tailgate to tailgate, and the biggest ones with the most people tend to have the best, you know, people on the grill. So I think that matters a lot. But yeah, 100%.
I agree.
The best tailgates are when everybody feels comfortable and knows each other. So I see what you mean with the people in conversation. That matters. Without that, there's no point of a tailgate.
Heck yeah. Well,
yeah.
All right. So good grill master, people, conversations. All right, let's go to the last question, and we need to move this through. But what ruins a cookout immediately? Go ahead, Chief.
You know, the drunk, you know, a-hole, the rude person. I mean, like I said, the conversation's important. It's usually really, really liked. If you can't be a happy drunk, then at a tailgate, it's just not the place for you to have more than one or two, whatever you're having. I mean, just, and not just that, not just the drunk guy, but the a-hole who's always confrontational, and
the guy who gets drunk too early.
I think, yeah, and not even the guy that gets drunk, but there's some people that are just confrontational and a-holes. And, for example, if you're at a Clemson Carolina game and you got some guy, and every other word out of his mouth is, "So Carolina sucks, this is what, or Clemson sucks," and all right, man, come on. We're here. We're all friends. People transcend the game. Our relationships. And like I said, it's always awesome. And then you get that one person and you're like, and everybody just wants to get rid of them. So,
yeah.
If it was Survivor, they'd be the first to go. It'd be like, well, we're not having tribal council till tomorrow night. No, he's out now. Bye.
Real. I get it. I'll add to this. I think a drunk person obviously can't handle themselves as a ruiner, but I'm telling you what, it's the person who shows up to the cookout and doesn't bring anything. You maybe you don't even bring a food, but bring a good personality or some jokes or some comedic relief, whatever you got to do. The person who brings nothing, that's just there and is quiet, and it just ruins the cookout to me. I'm not going to lie. Even if you don't bring, even if you can't, look, I know not everybody can be Shelly, all right, and go get and bring her homemade crab dip that she gets from Publix, okay? Not everybody can do that. Her made from scratch.
That stuff is good.
It is good. It is good. If you at least go do that, man. But anyways, moving it along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Publix and Harris Teeter is always open.
Ace, let's go, man. What ruins a cookout immediately?
Well, you could always say a bad chef, a bad grill master, but no, I got to go with what I've seen. Running out of alcohol, because as soon as that alcohol's over, and I'm telling you, if there's many tailgates, hey, all them people, they go somewhere else. They go wherever the rest of the alcohol is. So
yeah, the party doesn't kick up when you run out of beer and food.
Yep, I agree.
Yep, running out of alcohol. That's a bad thing.
Good job, Ace.
All right, I like that. Okay, so we're gonna. Let's
get back in it.
Go into it. Let's get to.
Yeah, boy.
Let's get to our.
Don't start the recording back until now. Go ahead. Go.
Yeah. So we're getting into our next segment, which is we are going to get into build our MLB lineup based on random team spins. So Ace has a spinner. He is going to spin, and we each get to pick the snake draft. Chief will go first. I'll go second. Then it'll come back to me and him, and we will build our MLB lineup. We're going to do it from catcher all the way up to a DH. So catcher to DH. No pitchers. No pitchers, but,
Outfielders, it's 3. Any 3 outfield.
3 outfielders. Yes, that's the rules. So just so we can,
Forgot.
So what's up?
I'm trying to get us a sponsorship with Oakley. So the first and only pair of Oakleys I've ever owned. That's why I'm wearing them today. That or, to prove that I'm cool. Like the kids.
I get it. All right. So I guess,
hey, man, I would have never imagined paying this much for glasses. Okay. Although I bought pairs for you guys.
Yeah.
I like them.
Right.
They're nice.
So here we go. Let's get it going here.
All right, Ace is going to spin the wheel. That tells us the team, right?
First one. Yep. And then you pick a player from that team.
All right.
Position.
All right. Cool. All right. Who's going first?
Chief is going first.
All right, Dad. We're landing on Chicago Cubs.
Okay. Hey, we may need to talk about that too, because the Braves playing the 2 division leaders. But all right. So Chicago Cubs. Let's see. I'm gonna need a minute all the way through. All right, here we go.
I know who I'd pick.
Yeah, I'll take Bregman as my third baseman.
All right, Alex Bregman, third base. Not bad.
Bregman.
All right,
Drew.
Let's go.
You are getting Pittsburgh Pirates.
Time's up. Forfeited pick. I'm a base. Roll me.
All right. Yeah. That's.
Dad rules, man.
Works. That's definitely how that works.
Next.
Let's see.
No pick for you.
I don't know, man. I'll go O'Neal Cruz in the outfield.
O'Neal Cruz, okay. All right, Dad.
All right. What do I got?
You have Alex Bregman at third base.
Who's the next team? Actually, I get the next
Texas.
pick. Remember, it's Snake.
Ace is next. Oh, sorry. Yeah, Drew's next. Yeah, sorry.
I'm next.
Yep.
Texas Rangers.
I'll take Corey Seager at third base.
Third base is a wash now.
I'll take Corey Seager at third base. Yep.
Dad?
Easy money.
I get the next 2.
Mariners.
Okay.
A lot of good ones. You could go there. You could go. Go catcher Kyle Raleigh. You could go outfielder Julio Rodriguez. You could.
Do I just do something
DH
crazy?
Kyle Raleigh. I mean.
Let's see. You know what? I'll go Julio Rodriguez.
All right.
Okay.
J-Rod.
And that you again, Chief?
Yep, I'm up next. Yep.
Interesting. All right.
Milwaukee.
The Brewers.
The Brewers. Man.
Okay.
But you could get a solid catcher with them and William Contreras.
Yeah. What are his numbers?
And you also have Bryce Terang would be a great second baseman.
Are you going to let me pick this, or are you just going to keep yapping off? I'm going to talk when you're.
It's good for me to think too, because what if I get the Brewers? What if I get one?
Yeah, I need numbers, man. All right, Contreras, he contributes. I don't know if I could get a better catcher anyway.
William Contreras.
All right. All right. So that means Drew's up.
Next two are me. Who we got?
Right,
Give me my team.
Yankees.
Aaron Judge.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Aaron Judge in the outfield.
That's easy.
Take Aaron Judge. One more. Another one. Next one for me again.
Marlins.
The Yankees. Ooh, man. Let me
been playing.
I don't, because sometimes you don't. Let's see. Because, man, I could fill in my outfield with another one, but All right, I'll just go Otto Lopez at short. He's been stout this year. We'll go Otto Lopez as my shortstop. So we both have 4 so far, right?
No, I got 3. I'm up. I get the next 2.
Okay. Gotcha. Chief with the next 2.
Spinner is slower than Walker.
Colorado
Knight.
Rockies.
Yeah.
And I get
one.
get one of the, All right. Yeah, he's got 11 home runs. I'm going to go with Mickey Moniak. He will be an outfielder. So.
All right.
And then the Padres.
Man, take.
Okay. Yeah.
You
So
got
that's better.
You got.
All right, the Padres. Just to make sure I don't miss
You could
anybody. I think I know exactly where I'm going, but just to make sure I don't miss anything, because they are.
But you could go.
I know who I want to go with, but I don't like the guy. That numbers are not good this year.
Still though.
All right, I'm gonna take Bogarts.
Okay. All right.
So I got my shortstop.
I would have taken Tatis. But
Bogarts' numbers are way better this year.
Bogarts isn't that bad. Right.
Well, I mean, if we're just drafting on what we think will happen, but I'm going by what I'm seeing so far. What's happened. So, all right. So now
Texas
it's Drew
Rangers.
for 2.
All right, my turn. Let's go.
Rangers.
Again, man.
I know you're.
Seager was kind of
some sluggers.
they kind of, but I'll go Jake Berger at first.
Los Angeles Angels.
That's the thing, though, is, I'll take Mike Trout in outfield.
About to say, I know he's old.
I need a catcher at a second base and a DH, though. That's the thing. So, kind of need those. But
all right, so I'm up for 2. I need first, second, another outfielder, and a DH. Okay.
Yeah, Kansas City.
Royals. A couple good ones there.
Yeah, there's some possibilities here. I don't want to pick another. My gosh.
Is your second baseman taken India?
Yeah, but India's average is 167.
You still need another outfielder? Hey.
Yeah, I need one more outfielder.
No, I'm telling you, they have an outfielder that's is your shortstop's also taken up.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. The best the best pick. All right. He doesn't produce a lot of numbers, and he hasn't played a lot. So, or otherwise, I know who I would take. Man, this is tough. And I already have my catcher.
Hey.
Great.
There's a right fielder.
I was saving the 246. I think you've gotten lucky with the teams. Yeah. You gonna buzz me?
He tried to buzz me.
Have to.
And why are they got so many platoons going on? Is that it?
Probably. I think in terms of talent, though, I think it's a clear. I know who I would take.
I'll take Sterling Marte.
Good one.
When he's played, he's been good, and he's batting over 300. So for what he's played, he's all right. So I just got to take a look. All right, I got one more, right, Ace? I'm up again.
Another pick.
Finally. Of course, he already took the best player.
Who'd you get?
Yeah.
Anaheim,
are you doing repeat
Los
here?
Angeles.
Well, no.
Yeah, you pick the same. Yeah, you can get the same team again. You could even get the same team.
No. I'm talking about players. Could you also get Trout?
No.
Okay.
He's already drafted. There's not 2 players.
Thing is, when you get down to
if I hadn't taken that fielder, man, I know who it would be. All right, I'll take Peraza. I need a second baseman.
Not bad, Ben. Oswald Peraza's not that bad. I mean,
all right.
No, he's got good numbers.
You got the Padres.
Defense matters.
All right, okay. I'm going to take Tatis as my DH.
There you go.
See, man.
Tatis, straight liability in the field, but give him the bat.
DH, though, man. All right, that's me again. What do you got?
Padres again.
Man.
I did a full circle, man.
Why don't you just let him pick the Dodgers roster? Dodgers and Yankees.
No Dodgers.
Man,
I haven't had the Dodgers, the Braves, or the Yankees. I had one of the Cubs. That was it. One cup.
Man, I'll take Jake Cronenworth at second. Now I need a catcher.
Y'all hear me?
I just need a catcher. Yeah, I just need a catcher.
All right, I'm froze. What a terrible shot to be froze on.
You are froze.
It's all right. It'll come back. It'll come back. Chiefs next. So we got
All
one
right.
of one, really. So we just got 1-1.
Yep.
That's
He's got the Astros.
once he joins back in. He's at that. Oh man, that's a good one. That's actually a really, really good one.
Team should be scrapped.
Yeah. I don't know where he went. There he is. I think he'd be titting and stuff, but yeah. All right, Chief, you got
All right,
the
am I back?
Astros. Yep.
All right,
You
cool.
got the
I'm back.
Astros.
All right, did you spin it or did you guys work on this? Well, actually, I'm
No,
the
I-
Astros.
Oh,
I'll
he
take
spin
it.
it. You said
Now,
Astros,
Ace has integrity. Ace isn't a cheater.
Nope.
So
Got any of this?
I take Alvarez as my DH.
That's a good one.
I could show you from here on out.
I mean, I don't have a choice. That's the best.
That's your last one.
Oh man, I could have taken a Gamecock at first,
Yeah, you could have took Christian Walker.
and he is playing too.
All right, how many more you got? Me?
That's going to limit me.
Me?
All right, can I switch? It's not moved on yet. Can I switch? I'm switching. I'm taking Walker.
Okay, is he up again? You still got one more for him?
No, I got another one, but that's not it. I'm taking Christian Walker though with this pick.
Okay, but
Not
are you
Alvarez.
going again?
Dodgers.
No, you're up 2, and then me. Then I get the last one. You're up 2. You get your last
Whoever
2,
has
and I get my
next,
last
that's the
one.
Dodgers.
I only have one left. I only need a catcher.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll need a DH, so we one each then. Okay.
So you go ahead. You got the Dodgers, and then I'll go. The next
All right. So I got the Dodgers. Okay.
And you, I don't know what else you need.
All right. Who did you take from the Dodgers?
I
I
didn't
haven't
take
written down
anybody
your
from
pick.
the
So,
Dodgers.
so nobody's had the
No.
Nobody's had the Dodgers.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Well, dang, I would have been great because they could have took Freddie. All right. So you know what? I could give me some. He'd give me some leeway too. I take Ohtani as my DH.
Solid pick, bro. A solid.
All right, and that's your
You got
your lineup. So I got one more spin. I need a
You
catcher.
got the
One
Phillies.
uno mas.
The Phillies.
Oh my gosh. What do you need? A DH?
I need a catcher.
Okay. Yeah. So
Looks like
Looks
I'm
like
going with
Real
JT
Muto.
Realmuto too. I mean,
too bad
I
you
have
didn't
to.
have
Wait,
like
wait.
DH
You got
open
Re-
because
wait,
they
you
got
got
some
JT?
hitters.
You got JT? Hey, man, there was a period, man. JT.
Yeah,
was
but-
without a
Dude.
doubt the best in the
So
league.
we gonna go. All right. So my lineup is Real Muto catching, Jake Berger at first, Jake Cronenworth at second, Corey Seager at third, Otto Lopez at short, O'Neal Cruz in the outfield with Judge, Trout, and Tatis as the DH. So
All right. And
All
I've
right.
got Contreras at catcher, Christian Walker at first, Peraza at second, Bogarts at short, Bregman at third, Marte in left, Rodriguez in center, and Moniak in right, and then Ohtani is my DH. All right, Ace, you can think
Drew-
about that a little bit
Drew
before you give us
beats
one.
you in every outfield position, I think. The only thing, is DH, and honestly, as a DH, I mean, Otani might be here, but Tatis ain't far behind. I think infield goes both ways there. Drew definitely has the better
Push.
catcher. I got to give it to Drew. here.
Ace, I'm
think
the
he-
only
I think he
person with a
wins this one.
Gamecock on my
Yeah.
roster. Dang it.
yeah, I win.
It's about who
We'll
has the better
see.
overall team,
Well,
top bottom.
obviously,
So I think
we'll see who has. We'll let some people vote who watch this in the comments. We'll let them vote.
I mean,
So,
Judge, Trout, and Otani all on the same team.
yeah,
JT Realmuto.
No,
At catcher.
Ohtani's on my team,
yeah.
Oh, my bad. Otani. Yeah.
I have
Drew has
Tatis.
Tatis.
Yes,
but he's
So,
got Judge and Trout. So
But yeah, that's two of the best hitters, along with O'Neal Cruz too. I mean, that's another one that's just whatever. It's great. All right, so that's gonna wrap that up. I think I won. Ace thinks it. We'll see what the comments say going forward.
I think
I'm not
Drew-
writing a speech, but I'll concede.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. That's all I needed. So, but yeah. So let's while we're on the topic of MLB, the Braves obviously beat the Dodgers last night 7-0. They bounced back after losing the first game, and they did it on the day that Bobby Cox passed away. They won it for Bobby. Spencer Strider pitched 6 shutout innings of baseball, 1 hit, 6 innings, which is Bobby Cox's number 6. It was 6-0 in the 6th inning too. I just thought that was kind of cool. So. Obviously, rest in peace, Bobby Cox, great Braves legend. Not the greatest manager ever, but definitely had the Braves very, very consistent in the 90s, and he deserves some kind of credit for that. I'll let Chief go and say what he wants to say.
Bobby was the players' manager. The clubhouse always hummed along, never really many issues. I only remember just a couple of spats the entire run of that team. The problem is that Bobby Cox was not a good decision maker. Okay. Bobby Cox would early on, it was, what does the book say? And then later on, it was like, just let it happen. Let it happen. I hate that. I hate that. Somebody, if you're going to let a guy make a decision every time he's at the plate, he's going to swing for the fences, or sometimes you got to bunt. I mean, you have to put things in motion. He was lucky, okay, because Bobby really, and Leo too, Leo had a great workout for the guys, okay, a great routine, but they would let those guys, they wouldn't make terrible decisions about when to pull people out. Fortunately, they had some of the biggest studs ever pitched on a mound, and not just that, but smart guys. I mean, Glavine and Maddox are as smart as they come, okay? Yeah. Maybe the smartest pitcher ever to play the game of baseball is Greg Maddox, and they had Smoltz, so it was easy. But, yeah, the players wanted to play for Bobby, okay? Bobby's rules he had some rules, but they were very, very relaxed for the most part. People felt comfortable. Yeah. There was only a few players that came through that Bobby didn't like Klesko. All right. You can just watch and tell. And I think because Klesko was always trying a little bit too hard, he definitely gave more effort than everybody else on that team. Not saying those guys weren't trying to win, but Klesko was always high octane. I don't think Bobby liked that. I think Bobby liked let's just sail along. And if we do, we're going to win 95 to 98 games. We're going to win this division. We'll get in the playoffs. We got the pitching. If we can get a couple 3-run bombs, we'll win the World Series. And that's what happened. So when they one they won. So
pretty much.
One thing too is Bobby got thrown out a lot. Okay.
Yeah.
But one of the reasons Bobby got thrown out, the most ever. But one of the reasons he got thrown out is Bobby was quick to go because, and he didn't do anything, and he wasn't making any decisions after the lineup anyway. And how hard was it to make up that lineup? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
But after that, he wasn't. So he would go out there and he would draw the fire from the umpires, okay, so that the players wouldn't get tossed. That was his whole thing. And so that was his thing. The players were comfortable. They enjoyed playing. It was easy to get free agents to come there. So, not the worst manager ever. He won a World Series. He won a lot of games. Maybe he was the right guy. Maybe he was the right guy during that time too. Yeah.
That's the best pitching staff. But yeah.
Well, rest in peace, Bobby.
Obviously, our thoughts, prayers with his family during this time. But yeah, so all right, we'll hit on that. Now we're going to go into our last segment of the show, segment 3. We have quite a few questions here that I
Braves and Dodgers rubber game in about an hour.
Yep, about an hour. So, so got some questions for Ace. Some just want to give him an opportunity, kind of give his perspective and some of his thoughts, and that take you in the mind of a younger athlete in college. So that's the thing is. This podcast is started by me and my father and different generations, and now we have the next edit behind. We're just going to get some thoughts from him. So started off, I'll ask the first question. What is something people think is easy about college, but it's actually not? I want to hear this.
Well, especially as an athlete, moving from high school to college, time management is the big thing. So people think freedom is easy. You go to college. I know so many people who go to college immediately, get the assumption that, wow, I can do what I want whenever I want. That is a great thing, but without structure, it's going to tear you down. I tutor at the college. I can't tell you, I tutored last year, this year. I'll be tutoring, hopefully my last 2 years. And what I see is especially freshmen coming in, quickly get behind. And the worst thing is, Brevard gets a lot of football players. So coming in there and, seeing football players who are, if you just skate by high school, which it's very easy nowadays. I mean, the standards in most public schools are pretty bad, but they struggle. And it's because, this is the first time, you got to pick out your own classes. You have to manage your own time. Mommy and daddy are holding your hand. So that all matters, and as an athlete, it's a full-time job. I mean, truly, I know coming in, as a football player, it was completely different than lacrosse because football, you got early morning lifts, wake up, you have your team meeting, you have your practice, you have your post-team meetings, you have film. So having to balance all that while, a minimum of 12 credit hours, which most people, I think, take 15 starting out. So you got 5 classes to deal with. You could get stuck with a very tough professor, and, that just makes your life even harder. I know what that's like.
Yeah.
I try to just befriend them, and, hopefully they'll cut me a little slack, but
Hey, you took 16 hours your first semester, right?
I took 16, 17, 16, and 15. So I'm at 60 something hours. So I'm just on track. I'm perfectly fine. But
Oh yeah.
nobody forces you to sleep, eat, all that. You have to do it. If you don't
you
do it,
have to something you have to
you'll
do on your
fail.
own.
So
You have to
time
take it
management
upon
is
yourself.
critical when you become an adult. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I get that.
And you see it.
And you're an RA next year.
I'll be an RA
for
next
real.
year.
That's an even bigger responsibility.
It is. I got this whole handbook I have to study over the summer, so it's going to be fun. But yeah, time management, that's the biggest thing.
More freedom, but is it really, is it really that much better considering you have to now manage everything on your own? I understand. I would say that's something that I struggle with too, but I think a lot of people do it. It's very easy to get some freedom and then be like, nah, I don't have to do this, or I'll let this slide, or I'll miss this class, and that stuff stacks up. So, second question I got for you: what sport is harder mentally, football or lacrosse?
I think football is more mentally emotional. Lacrosse is more mentally exhausting, if that makes more sense. So, football is a play, stop, play, stop, play, stop. You get a break in between. I know it's very short, so it's not the same as lacrosse in that aspect. Lacrosse is a constant moving game. Especially you can hit a 5-minute stretch of nonstop movement with the ball. Teams, it's really hard to slow the game down if two really good teams are playing, because defensive guys will press offensive guys who have the ball, forcing them to move. And you have really 5 positions on the field. You have your face-off guys, your goalie, your attackmen, defenders, and midfielders. And I was a short stick defensive midfielder, so I carry a stick just like offensive attack guys, but I primarily get in on the midfield to play defense, and I typically play the point, so I'm on their A attackman. That's just our kind of label for them. So and I that's the longest I've ever ran playing a sport ever. And I've went through wrestling, and that's tough. But this is the first time I've had movement on top of movement on top of movement, and the only time you get a break is if you're subbed off, especially as a midfielder. So I think that aspect, the lacrosse workouts. So my first day when I joined, I had a meeting with the coach at 3:15, 4 o'clock. I was doing their hell, which is basically 2 hours of straight conditioning. I was doing barrel rolls, running. I probably did 1,000 yards bear crawls. And I really only went through half the circuit that we'll do in the fall, which was insane. I barely got through it. It was rough because I took a little bit of time off, so wasn't really thinking of being an athlete again, but I am now. So, but yeah, I think overall, football drains you in moments. Lacrosse will drain you over time. I think that's the best way to put it. It's really hard to put which one's harder mentally. I had more mental struggle with lacrosse. Picking up the stick is harder. Football is a game where athletes can really excel no matter what level you play at. The back scratcher. Athletic ability in football matters so much, especially at the higher levels. Lacrosse, athletic ability matters, but there's also a skill level too.
Right.
You can take some of the best football players, put them on the lacrosse field for the first time, and look absolutely stupid. I promise you. You will have guys pull out some crazy things with a stick. They will look like magicians out there, and you'll get scored on, and you don't even realize they scored. Won't even realize the ball shot off. They'll just be in there. Be in the goal. You're standing around.
Hockey's kind of similar.
My first practice was like that. It was hard. I got smoked the first practice, and you start picking it up and learning. So
heck yeah. Well, all right.
He plays lacrosse like he's a linebacker still. So.
Yeah, he's just an enforcer. Yeah. That's all he's there for, apparently.
I'm surprised he didn't get arrested the one game for what he did to this kid. It was pretty brutal.
Gets ribs.
I was gonna pass it over and see if I didn't know if Chief, you had any questions that you wanted Ace to answer. If you were just
no, you go ahead. Okay.
So I got a few more, but we're going to try to keep these short so we can wrap this up. We are pushing time a little bit. But I'm going to go ahead and the next one I got for you is how different are college athletes from your regular high school athletes? Now, I can answer this too because I've kind of seen it, but I want your perspective on it.
Truthfully, the difference between high school athletes and college athletes is I think it's a talent gap. Truly, I just think it's a God-given ability. Trust me, I play Division III, lowest division of NCAA you can play. So trust me, we have some great athletes out there who could definitely play at the lower D1 levels, D2 levels. People like to say D3 are just undersized D2 players, D1 players. And a lot of places that is true. I've seen some athletes that just got looked over because, they want that 6'1" linebacker when this guy's 5'9", but they play the same. It's just the measurements. So I do think it is. High school guys can dominate with their talent alone, but everybody in college can play ball. Because I mean, you play high school ball, you'll play teams that have one guy, two athletes that are carrying the workload. In college, you will have stars, but everybody on that field can play ball. Everybody playing on that field.
And I'll even add in on this. Like for me, I played high school baseball, and like I said, you're just you know that you stand out, and you're better than the majority of the guys you're going up against. And then you get to even JUCO baseball, you get up there and you get to those practices, you start practicing with these guys in JUCO ball, and you're like, yeah, some of them they're gonna be talented, but whatever. And then you're shocked because you see this guy come out there and he's a sophomore, right, in JUCO, and he was on the team last year, and you're just a freshman, and you're seeing him taking BP, and he's hitting everything over the fence. I mean, just everything. Like breaking pitches, outside pitches, he's taking the other way. You see him just teeing off, right, on BP, like more than you've ever seen in your life, and you're like, what's this guy in JUCO, And then you realize that he had a 1.2 GPA in high school, and then that's why. Like, it's like, okay, all right. But like you see it, man. You go up there and you're like, I've never seen a person hit the baseball like this. And then you're like, okay, well that's maybe and then you start seeing other guys, other sophomores and people that have been on the team hit, and they're hitting the same way, and it's just like everybody's good up here, man. Like there's no like you go from being the boss, the master chief, and in high school to being lowest man on the totem pole in college because everybody's good. And yeah, it's different. I also think I think it's like I said, there's just, you're either born with it or you're not. You either have the talent or you don't have the talent. And when you get to that level,
I noticed,
it's the people that just have
Drew,
the talent.
when in college for you was that, in high school, 1 out of 10 pitchers is really, really good, moves the ball, locates it, and all this stuff. In college, especially, where you went, everybody could pitch. Every pitcher could deal. So, you're looking at, you're going to lose 2 at bats just because of the pitcher. And so you gotta battle the other 2. That's your only chance. So that's what I saw watching you play in college. So
I agree. All right. Next,
last. Sorry.
Yeah.
Size on top of that. Yeah. Size is complete. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, especially
some big dudes,
playing football, we played JUCO, we played Lewisburg. Georgia Military. We got some really good junior colleges there. Hey, Lewisburg had the kid who taught 2 touchdowns for Alabama back in the Natty, and then got kicked off the team. And I had to play against that guy. And trust me, every time all he wanted was to touch the ball. Literally, I can't tell you how many jump balls they throw. I think half their offense was just a jump ball. That's all we defended that week. Learning about it was that guy's gonna ask to get the ball. They're gonna throw it to him, and they're gonna try to jump over. He's gonna try to jump over you because he's 6'3"
and Ace. Everybody
vertical, and he's gonna get that ball. So
this isn't just your dad talking. This is everybody that watched you play. Okay, everybody that we were the camps we recruited. If you were 6'1" instead of 5'10", things would have been way different for you. And that's just the truth. You could do everything a Division I linebacker could do, but a Division I linebacker could be 225 at 6'1" easier, and you're looking at 200, 205, the right way at your height, and that matters to them. It's not just the height, but the weight you can put on there, even though you are wide and you're thick. And so, and everybody, I remember Coach Nelson, and he told me your sophomore year, he said, if he can grow a little, he said, if this kid was 6'2", he's a 4-star recruit all day long. So,
yeah.
College is different because everybody's bigger, everybody's faster, everybody's better.
I agree. All right. Well, that is going to bring me to really my last question. And this is kind of interesting because me being in the Army, but do you think most Army soldiers could make it through the college sports training that you do? And then caveat to that, the second answer, vice versa, do you think college football players and college athletes could make it through Army training? Which I guess, obviously, I think they both could. Which one has a better chance at making it through the other person's training and doing a better job in your eyes? And I'll give you my answer, and then we'll close it out.
If we take skill level, right? So let's say we're just training, right? We're going through conditioning, we're going through weight room, all that kind of stuff. Let's take specific sports drills out of it.
Yeah,
I think military guys, regardless of your branch, if you went through basic training, you could do you could perform just like lower level college guys. Okay, you could go in there and put up similar stats, you can get through it about the same. My cutoff with that is, and there's one sport particularly, is a D1 college wrestling ring. Those guys aren't making it. That's my hot take. You're talking about 2 hours of brutal discipline, and that the training for wrestling is wrestling. Like that just is. So I don't think you're getting through that. Or
I'd
or
say
whatever gymnasts
I'd
do and all that
agree.
stuff.
I would
So,
agree.
but if we take skill specific out of it and we just go off of conditioning and basic training and stuff, I think Army guys could do, military guys could do just fine in college, for the most part. And I think a lot of college athletes could do the same, but Army guys would do better with college training than college guys could do with military training. So I definitely got to give military an edge there. I mean, what percent of the world of the U.S. even goes to the military versus goes to play a college sport? So
I would agree. I would say that your basic frontline Army, just regular soldiers, most of them could make it through. I would say, though, in terms of the wrestling, the D1 wrestling conditioning, I would say that you would probably have to tap into like the special operations, special forces guys. I think those guys could probably make it through that because their training is, to me, I think their pipelines and their courses and selections are actually harder than a college D1 wrestling. And it's not just the conditioning; it's because of the fact that they
100%.
don't sleep and they don't eat for 20 something days, and they're just getting destroyed without food or sleep. So yeah, I think the higher tier 1, tier 2 guys would definitely probably outdo any college athletes in any sport for sure. So okay, let's
Army,
get Chiefs take.
Rangers, Marine Recon, pararescue, combat controllers, Navy SEALs. There is no physical and mental. There's no challenge with a physical and mental component that any other career field. NFL player, college wrestler, don't even talk about, pro wrestling, which is just bad acting. I mean, none of those guys could match up to any task like our special forces. End of story. Yep. Okay. I know what those guys went through some of it. It is not most college athletes would quit after an hour. Okay. All right. Listen, if you took like, the best 500 college athletes, okay, football, let's say football, tough sport, college football players, right? And you put them out there in Navy SEAL training, that damn bell would break in 10 minutes, okay? They'd be ringing it so fast. That's a fact. So our boys in uniform, you guys know what you are. Much respect. We talk about sports and everything, but love you guys, praying for you all the time.
Yeah. All right. Well, that pretty much wraps it up. Thank you again, Ace, for bringing your perspective and just being here with us,
So 3.
Voice. Episode 3. I'll let Ace go ahead and give any closing remarks, any statements he has, whatever, so we can get out of here. Go ahead.
Remember, your invite back depends on how well you deliver this summation.
Yeah. Also, how well you help promote the show.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't care about all that. I just sitting around talking.
I'd like to be on more. I don't, Sundays, whenever we record, that time works just fine for me. But sports talk.
During your mom's nap, that's a perfect time to record. That way nobody's bothering her.
Yep. She don't get frustrated.
It's Mother's Day, so she gets as long a nap as she wants.
Yeah.
And God help the person that wants to mess with her.
It's true.
Yep.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ace. I'm sorry.
Quote,
yeah.
Never trust anybody. She's bad
at interrupting.
Never trust somebody who says they don't really watch sports, but somehow knows every referee by name.
Okay. All right. That's it. That's an interesting take. All right. Okay. That's some good final thoughts. Some little advice there. Nice tip. All right, go ahead, Chief. Come on.
Be honest. Be honest with people. Try to give good advice. Love yourselves. Love your friends. Love your family. Love each other. Love yourself. I hope everybody has a good week out there. I think we're going to record again maybe Thursday or Friday night.
We're trying to take the freaking. Yeah, we're trying to be too nice on here.
Hey, I go on my rants, people and I mean I still even Garrett Nussmeier, I pray for that guy. I mean I want everyone I want everyone to be part of the kingdom, but I'm gonna let you know if you're not a great ball player or you do something stupid. I get called on all the stuff I do. That's right.
A Soki fan base.
Yeah.
Hey,
but love each other. Did you say that to curry favor with your mother, Ace?
No, I'm just only Mets fans.
It's funny how
love each other. Love yourself.
Too.
Yep, I know.
Ace never says.
I know.
Ace never
she's
says
gonna listen to
about
this
the Mets until it's Mother's Day.
Yep, she listens. She's going to listen to this. So.
Well, I know. But anyways, all right.
So he's just kissing up.
Yeah, I think.
Love you, both of you. Love you guys. I enjoy doing this. It's fun to hang out with you guys.
Of course, love you.
You all know that.
So yeah, what Sunday? Today is Sunday. Next episode will be Thursday, Friday. I think is when you want to record Thursday, Friday, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
I'm
Thursday.
the one that's always ready. You're the one that I usually have to wait on. I'm ready to. I could do it. I could do it every day. I'm just ready to rattle
You
them off, but I
have a
understand.
responsible wife, okay, and a cat that really you just need to look at her once in a while, okay. I have a job, your mom, your brother, your other brother.
Yeah, I don't have a job or anything either.
My other brother Daryl, your other brother Daryl. Hey, I'm Drew. This is my brother Ace. This is my other brother Ace.
No. Actually, I forgot to tell everybody.
It's Newhart. Y'all don't get that probably. I don't know if y'all get that.
We didn't. I forgot to bring this up. This is actually what I was going to start off with. But everybody, give a warm round of applause for our guest here. Our special guest, though, Mr. Wilson. All right, everybody, give a warm round of applause.
Mr. Wilson. Chris Wilson.
Mr. Wilson.
We'll cover that at another date. We'll cover that later. Mr. Wilson.
This is my guy, man.
I'm never
I
gonna
almost lost it, man. I almost lost it.
I'm never gonna let that one down. It's great.
I was like,
Never.
what is this guy talking about?
We will tell
Chris
that
Wilson?
story on the next one.
I thought that died in December, man. Can we keep it in the past, man?
No, that is never going away. That was hilarious. What are you trying to keep yourself from being investigated? He's trying to avoid the FBI coming to get him. Are you serious?
I have used Christopher Wilson on some forums at school, though.
And then you know what he says at first? He's like, well, what's with the person that had the phone number before me? You had this number since you were 12.
Hey, we got to go. We got to wrap this up. All right.
All right. Love you.
Yep.
Till next time.
Episode 3. Till next time. Thank you.